I recently received this comment from Paprika Cruise, and thank you for all your comments, Paprika Cruise. You haven't left your name, so I'll just call you Paprika. Yeah, some really nice comments that you've left, really thought provoking. This comment that you left, I just found your channel and I love it. What you share really resonates with me and where I am on my journey right now. I've never been so excited about my existence and the future. I am currently in a detox decluttering stage and am creating space for all the extra joy that I want to bring into my life. I've been plant-based for almost 2 years, but officially the V word for about 9 months. I live in San Diego, California, but just returned from my first trip to India last month. I was in Rishikesh for the International Yoga Festival and Holi. Oh God, love Holi. But spent a short time in Delhi and Agra as well. I loved it so much. I already have a flight booked to go back in the fall, probably to Goa, Mumbai, back to Rishikesh, and possibly Japan or Thailand. Hit me up when you're in India, Paprika, because I am probably going to be back in India by then as well, and I will be based in Mumbai. Um, anyway, since I've been back, I've been eating fully raw to cleanse my insides. Blah blah blah. So while I've been detoxing my insides, I've become more aware of the toxins that surround me and have decided to get rid of the clutter in my home and practice minimalistic living. Nothing like traveling with a backpack to show you how little you need. Um, it's, but it is videos like yours. It is challenging, and I find myself resisting or looking for distractions. But it's videos like yours that encourage me to continue making room to manifest my dreams. Thank you, Sundal. Lots of love. No, thank you, Paprika, because it's comments like yours that inspire me to keep making these videos. Just because I can see that loads of us are kind of waking up now, and we're all going through this journey. And the plant based thing, the vegan thing, it's all part of like a bigger plan, it's kind of an awakening that we're all going through, where we're detoxing. Um, yeah, not just our bodies, but we're also detoxing our spaces. It's about energy and creating space to allow the flow of energy. Yeah, so your comment has inspired me to kind of talk more about yeah, just these changes that people are going through with respect to cleansing, purging, and basically letting go of all that no longer serves you. Um, with that come a lot of addictive behaviors. So addiction to unhealthy food, addiction to shopping. I had a big shopping addiction, which I've managed to cure mostly. Also by traveling. There are a couple of ways to cure a shopping addiction. Uh, Basically, I think shopping addiction and also a lot of other addictive behaviors like sex addiction, relationship addiction, codependency, food addiction, drug addiction, they all stem from the same place. And that is a lack of self love. So once you start going within, and whether that be through, yoga, meditation, traveling, whatever outlet you have in order to get in touch with your higher self, whatever it is that helps you um, start loving yourself, um, you will probably find replaces those addictive behaviors. So the I talked in one of my earlier videos about my shopping addiction and my hoarding compulsions. You can see that video here. I'll put a link. And yeah, when I was back in London, the focus was on decluttering because yeah, I had so much stuff and it was just completely overwhelming. And after coming back from Thailand and living quite a minimalistic life, because as a model, you only stay in one place for 3 to 6 months, so you have to keep your stuff to an absolute minimum. Just keep only what you need, because if you buy extra stuff, you can enjoy it while you're there, but after a few months, you can't take it with you. So I've left a suitcase full of things in India with one of my bookers in his garage. I left a big suitcase of stuff with a stylist friend here, so it was all ready and waiting for me when I came back. But it has meant that, like, I haven't bought things unnecessarily. in London, I had such a bad shopping addiction, and I had enough space to keep things, and I was working as a stylist as well. So I had all the excuses to go and buy things all the time, and really most of it was coming from a feeling of an inadequacy, a lack of self-love, a feeling that I always needed to have things just in case a photo shoot came up or whatever. So there are a couple of ways that I dealt with this addiction. The number one way that I dealt with it at the time was I mainly only bought things from secondhand shops, because for me, like, that was a way for me to be okay with the idea of overconsumption and buying things that I didn't really need. I've always had quite a strong ethical code, which I've always tried to stick to. Not always 100%, because we are human and we do live in a very self-serving society that encourages overconsumption. So if you do have an insatiable compulsion to always buy clothes and shoes and handbags and things, and you have a problem like I do with overconsumption, and the idea that there are people in developing countries working in unsafe working conditions and long hours making your clothes, then perhaps you could try vintage shopping and charity shopping and things like that, because it's a little bit more guilt-free. The money's going to a good cause, and at the end of the day, if you don't wear it, it probably didn't cost you that much anyway, and you can always just give it away or sell it on eBay. The other thing that helped me cure my shopping addiction was traveling, as Paprika Cruz mentioned as well. I mean, backpacking is one thing. When you're backpacking, you kind of, it's not so much like real life. So I found that because this particular contract that I'm doing here in Thailand, I've traveled much, much more than any other contract. Usually I would stay in the city a lot more and I would get more involved in city life. There's a lot of castings, meetings, going to sort of networking events, model parties and things like that, for which you need, certain things. You need a lot of makeup and different clothes, party clothes, high heels and things like that. But this time I've kind of tried to combine city living with more of the backpacker thing. Every time I've had a few days off work, I've taken off and gone somewhere. Like, I've been to Pai twice. I went to Krabi. I did like that part of South Thailand. In 2 days, I'm going to Vietnam. So I've found that, when you're doing the whole backpacker thing, you do wear a lot less clothes. You need a lot less clothes. I don't wear makeup when I'm doing the backpacker thing, because it just slows you down. And when you're staying in cheap accommodation and staying in like dormitories or like very small rooms, you don't have space to spread out all your shit. You don't really want to. It takes up time that you could be out spending, exploring the area and having fun and talking to people. So yeah, there's that. But I don't know if the backpacker experience would actually help you eliminate that kind of compulsion to possess things when you go back to your normal life. So for me, the whole nomadic existence, like actually living in different cities for a small amount of time, really helped me strip back to minimalistic living. And if you saw some of my my vlogs, not my vlogs, if you saw some of my videos from when I was vlogging back in London, you'll see that my space was much, much more cluttered. I've got things in my room that I've kept for like years and years and years and years and years, thinking that I might need them one day, and finding it very, very difficult to let go of them, because I might have spent a lot of money on them, or I might have all these different sentimental attachments attached to them, or crafty things, because I'm very crafty and I like to make things for like photo shoots or whatever. So I just have like loads of crap basically, that I intended to do with things, which I talked about in my earlier video on hoarding and overconsumption. So traveling is a great way to kind of stop buying so many things. And it also, when you move on to a new place, you have to let go of things. So it helps you release attachment. There might be lots of things that I've collected, like, a couple of vases and fairy lights and things to make my apartment look nice that I just cannot keep when I leave. So I will donate them to other people. And it's okay, because, lots of models are traveling through town and they've donated things to me. So you start to realize that when you're letting go of something, you're not losing it. You're giving it to somebody else who can enjoy it, and you're creating space for something that is more suited to you to to enter your life when you move on to the next place. These things will come back to you. You don't need, like, I don't need this tea light holder when I leave. Somebody else might give me a tea light holder when I go to the next place, Like when I go back to India, I'll probably be living in the same apartment that I lived in last time. Not necessarily, but I bet a lot of the stuff like the plant pots and things like that I bought will still be there. If they're not, I can just get others. Like once you start letting go of your attachment to things, you'll find that things will just flow through your life. If you're holding on to things, you don't have space for anything. When I was living in London, I was constantly overwhelmed by all the things that I had to do. And all those things that I had to do were attached to the things that I owned. They were things like doing my laundry because, I had so many clothes that they would just be always overflowing. Or, doing one of my endless DIY projects that I was always thinking of. Or, listing things on eBay because I just couldn't let go of all the things that I'd bought without somehow getting something back for them, which is just ridiculous. It's perfectly fine to donate those things. Money is also one of those things. It's just energy, and it flows through your life. Have you not found that whenever you needed money, it's always there? I've as many times as I've been broke, I've never not had money for the things that I needed. So again, it's this attachment that you hold on to things. Just let it go. Let it flow, Yeah. Also, another thing that really, really helped me stop over-consuming was meditation and just getting in touch with myself. I found that I just didn't really need these things anymore. I didn't need to always look like some crazy fashionista. The way I used to dress was just, it was a form of creativity, and I do still enjoy it. But there's something about traveling and seeing how people live all over the world, like in Thailand and Mumbai, where there's a lot of poverty. It seems quite inappropriate to walk around with like a big turban and, just crazy things that I used to wear. I do still enjoy it, and I will do it. I do still do it from time to time. But sometimes it's just like, come on, like, is it really that important? You start to realize that all these external things are it's just an avatar that you play with. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with buying nice things, buying yourself nice jewelry or makeup or clothes. These things are great. They're a form of creative expression, but they are not your identity. They do not define you. This is just an avatar. So it's basically just the body that you're given, and your physicality. It's just a tool through which you experience the world and experience life. So I will use my avatar by posting selfies on Instagram to try and promote my work as a model. And I do get work from posting selfies on Instagram. As narcissistic as I find selfies, as much as I don't like them and really resisted them in the beginning, I have started to get more work since I started posting them. So for me, it's just me playing with my avatar and using whatever I was given in order to continue experiencing the world. And that's what we need to do. If you're going to like a business networking party, by all means, dress up all fancy, if it's appropriate for the occasion, and go and do your thing. Go and do the work that you came here to do so that you can continue experiencing this beautiful planet. I think it's just important to remember the difference between enjoying all the beautiful physical things that people create and overconsumption. I enjoy nice products that I use for my hair and for my skin. I have to. I'm a model, so I have to keep myself looking presentable. So I do use nice products. I just keep them to a minimum and I use only what I need. So basically, what I'm trying to say is it's perfectly fine to appreciate beautiful things. You know, these things like whatever, like, okay, this is probably made in some factory in China. I don't know. Like, it's fine. It's just it's people expressing their creativity, and if you want a tea light holder because you want to make your space a bit nicer, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But just know when you don't need another tea light holder. Are you buying this thing because you need it, or are you buying this thing to fill, you know, a hole in your life? Take from the earth what you need, only what you need, and nothing more. And don't get too attached to things. Don't be afraid to let something go and let somebody else enjoy it. You basically create the space now for something even better to enter your life, whether that's something physical like another tea light holder, or whether it's, you know, money to buy another tea light holder, or maybe something even better than a tea light holder. Okay, anyway, I hope I articulated my point well there. Basically, when you have less stuff, you have more time, you know? It takes me less than an hour to clean my apartment now, whereas it used to take me all day to clean my room. Before, when I had all that stuff, always dusting behind things and hoovering behind things. So when you have more time, then you have more energy to create. That basically allows more things, like money, for example, to enter your life, so which you can then use to buy things that you actually need, rather than things just to satisfy an addiction. So yeah, that's all I've got time for today, because I've got to rush off to a Muay Thai class now, and that's why I'm in my gym gear. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up if you did. Leave me a comment. Do you have any addictions which you're currently trying to deal with, and what are the mechanisms that you've been using to cope with said addiction? Leave me a comment. Okay, see you later, boys and girls. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. Just find the coolest shit. Obviously, I can't wear this in Bangkok. It's too hot. But, I mean, come on. This was £6.